I remember loving Vance. Shane crashed his car and lost his memory. He forgot we're married. I went to Riverdale to see him. He was ice cold. I swallowed the sour ache and walked out, only to hear him burst out behind me. I'm done for, I've fallen in love. I just experienced love at first sight with that girl. I can't even imagine how happy I'd be if she were my wife. Me, already his wife? Before we go on, subscribe and tell us where Vance re-listening. 1. Shane had crashed. When I heard, it felt like I'd been shoved into an ice bath. I sprinted to Riverdale. I pushed open the door. He was laughing with Leo. Seeing him in one piece, I exhaled. I hurried to his side, still shaking, eyes stinging red. Shane looked up, totally lost. How could Vance be so reckless? My voice cracked. That only confused him more. He shot Leo a help glance. I frowned. Don't try to pin this on Leo. He turned back, hesitating. Do I know Vance? Now I was the one who was lost. I snapped out of it, angry. Shane, Vance re-joking at a time like this? I reached to tug his sleeve. He flinched like I was assaulting him. Ma'am, I don't know Vance. Please keep your hands to yourself. My hand froze mid-air. I stared at his face, and knew, heart sinking, he wasn't lying. After years together I can read every micro-tell. This was amnesia. He'd erased me, and our marriage. The tears I'd held back finally spilled. Shane panicked, hand lifting to wipe them, then froze at his own reflex and pulled back. I swiped the tears away and looked at Leo. He met my eyes. Doctors say there's still bruising on his brain. He could lose chunks of memory. Chunks? He'd deleted me entirely. Stranger danger looked back at me. Acid flooded my chest. I'll talk to the doctor. I practically fled. Outside, I leaned on the door to steady myself. Just as I started to leave, Shane's excited voice rang out. I'm done for, I've fallen in love. I just experienced love at first sight with that girl. I can't even imagine how happy I'd be if she were my wife. Me, his actual wife? Inside, Leo choked for 2 seconds, then grinned. Gonna chase her? Is that allowed? Do Vance even know who she is? Leo had zero intention of spilling. Oh, I know her. Vance do too. Seriously? Shane's voice jumped an octave. No wonder she dashed in after my crash. Are we close? Close is complicated. How complicated? Vance too are in a roommate situation. Shane looked thunderstruck. Roommates? Me, the other half of that situation, Leo, milking the amnesia for all it's worth. Shane was still rebooting. Why would I move in with her? Don't tell me I pulled some forced love crap? Leo lost it and laughed out loud. Confirmed, true bro. Shane had fallen for me first, but, thanks to some bad advice, never came at me straight. He baited hooks instead. I bit. Blame the 8-pack abs, the V-taper, the GQ cover jawline. Hard not to. Right then I ditched the idea of barging in with the truth. Karma's a circle. Time for him to chase me, properly. This round, he's confessing first. 2. The doctor said Shane's prognosis was good, rest a few months, and he'd be fine. I went straight home from the consult. Took down every wedding photo, hauled my toiletries from the master suite to the guest suite. When the coast looked clear, I headed back to Riverdale. Shane's whole vibe flipped the second he saw me. He tried for a smoky baritone. So I hear we're roommates? Leo was turning purple, holding in laughter. I kept a straight face. Technically it's a rent share. Rent share? Shane looked personally attacked. Vance and me? Yep. Vance tanked your startup, burned your savings, and the mortgage on this place is underwater, so Vance rent share to stay afloat. True story, those were the exact lines he'd fed me so we could live together, and I'd bought it. Shane needed a second to reboot, then appealed to Leo. Leo wiped the grin, slapped his shoulder, and sighed. Afraid so, bro. Vance busted flat. Last month I floated your house payment. The man can lie without blinking. I'm broke? Shane closed his eyes like he was attending his own funeral. Understandable. 1 minute Vance heir to a shipping empire, next Vance negative net worth. He looked at me, mortified. So? Vance supporting me? He was so adorable I almost broke character and kissed him. I locked down the urge and stayed frosty. Landlord tenant only. Maybe the label was too clean. Disappointment flickered across his face. Leo caught my eye. He wasn't done producing the sitcom. Feigning diplomacy, he said, Alara, since Shane's injured, could Vance keep an eye on him for a month or two? Just feed him, call it rent credit. Shane's eyes lit up like, genius, why didn't I think of that? I pretended to wrestle with it, then smiled. Fine. 3. A few days later I brought him home. For authenticity I'd moved into the guest suite and even sneak edited his phone so my contact now reads Landlord Alara. Habit is scary, though. Without Shane's arms around me I flat out couldn't sleep. Scrolling only wired me more. Then I opened a Quora thread and spotted a very familiar avatar. It was Shane. I knew his account. He normally used it to answer professional questions. Yet half an hour ago a totally off-topic post had appeared. I'm falling for my rent-share roommate, how do I win her over? The replies below were all over the place. Vance already live together and still haven't closed the deal? Bro, Vance need more reps. Got cash? Throw it. Got a body? Flaunt it. Can cook? Trap her stomach. Got nothing? Keep dreaming. Just go for it. Are Vance even a man? A real man charges straight in. Probably feeling none of those tactics were practical, Shane added a clarification. Forgot to mention, I'm jobless, her landlord roommate, and right now her rent pays my bills. The moment he posted that, the comment section turned on him. Yeah, just keep dreaming. Pretty sure the OP's trying to scare the girl into a rent hike. Dude, priority number 1 is a job, not a girlfriend. Knowing Shane, those jabs would only make him more stubborn. After all, that same grit had once reeled me in. I decided to mess with him. I flipped back and left a reply, sure your roommate's actually single? Barely a minute later my phone buzzed with his text. Vance still awake? Not yet. Can I ask Vance something? Shoot. Do Vance have a boyfriend? I burst out laughing at the screen. Nope. Through the door I could practically hear him pump a victorious fist. I curved my lips, thumbs flying. But I'm married. Maybe I'd pushed too hard. 10 minutes ticked by with no answer. He wasn't giving up, was he? I got up to explain, cracked my door, and almost collided with him. Spotting me, he looked flustered, almost wounded. After a painful pause he croaked, "Why Vance, really, married?" I said nothing, just sighed. That hesitation killed the last spark in his eyes, they turned hollow. I caved. Honestly, when he aimed that check every box face at me like a lost puppy, resistance was impossible. Okay. I was kidding. Clouds lifted instantly from his expression. If he'd had a tail, it would be wagging in orbit. I sighed theatrically. Guys keep hitting on me, so I invented a husband I live with. If that bugs Vance, I'll move out tomorrow. I dropped my gaze, aiming for maximum pitiful. No way, he blurted, terrified I'd start packing on the spot. Really? I beamed, voice honey soft. Shane, Vance the best. His earlobes flamed. I am only okay, not that great. Realizing he was spiraling, he stiffened. I'll, head to bed. Night. He marched off, left foot, left arm, right arm, perfect sync. 4. Back in his room, the first thing Shane did was answer my comment. She's single. And she tells strangers I'm her husband. Officially fake, but give me time, it'll be real. I've got the muscle and the moves. His bravado summoned a squad of online wingmen. One handle, my buddy ain't sharp, caught his eye. Bro. Deploy your biggest weapon and blast her with charm. Like what? Got abs? Flash M just enough, half hide, half reveal. Total aphrodisiac. I'm convinced this was the same genius who advised him 3 years ago. God knows the second I saw that 8-pack, our innocent roommate situation mutated on the spot. 3 years later, I swore I was immune. Just abs, no big deal. They hooked me again. Damn it, who falls for the same abs twice? I watched Shane stage an accidental towel strut out of his room. My face betrayed me, burning hot. What's the deal? 3 years and I still can't look away? I coughed and swiveled my head, tsunamic inside, glacier calm outside. Maybe throw on a shirt? Mid-post Shane blinked. Huh? I deadpanned, flu season. Vance'll catch cold, infect me, I'll miss work, can't pay rent, we're both homeless. He stared, processing, then flashed a goofy grin. Got it, shirt coming up. Wrong. Very wrong. I couldn't decode that reaction. He was back in seconds, fully clothed, parked opposite me. Phone in hand, he kept sneaking glances. Suspicious, I pretended to scroll, then spotted his fresh reply to my buddy ain't sharp. Dude. It worked. She fussed over me, scared I'll get sick, scared she'll miss rent and we'll be split up. Think she likes me a little? The misunderstood. 2 years married, and his mental gymnastics still leave me in the dust. Self-wingman much? Not just me, his guru was speechless too. No blushing, stammering, or awkward eye dodge? Nah, but she cared. Might be been about housing, though. Nope, she cares about staying with me. Let's move on. New play, fake some childhood baggage, make her heart bleed, heartache equals love. But my childhood rocked. Ever heard of creative exaggeration? I'm enlightened, bro. Vancery a genius. A ominous chill crawled up my neck. Please, not the never-ending highlight reel. I glanced at Shane, he met my eyes, looked away instantly, basically wearing a plot incoming sign. 5. After dinner I was heading for the shower when Shane's phone rang. He glanced at me, picked up. I recognized the voice, his cousin. He brushed her off. I'm fine, just a scratch. Relax, someone's looking after me. Vance, don't believe me? Here, talk to her. He walked over, eyes pleading. Cover for me, I don't want my family worried. I hesitated, then took the phone. Hey, sis, the cousin chirped, sis-in-law. Don't worry, I didn't blow his cover. He texted me to call and fake panic. Are Vance 2 cosplaying or something? I admit, after the amnesia hit, cousin's brain cell count took a nosedive. Shane's cousin already knew about the memory wipe and had promised to help me keep the act alive. I swallowed a laugh, met Shane's eyes, and answered in my most serious voice, no need to thank me, he's my roommate, after all. Cousin gushed about my acting skills for a few seconds, then hung up. Shane took the phone back and let out a tragically poetic sigh. I ignored him. He sighed again, louder. I was dying inside, but I arranged my face into concern. What's wrong? Shane finally had his opening, his voice dropped to a funeral dirge level. Thinking about my cousin reminds me of something that happened in first grade. Here we go again. I'd heard this story at least 800 times, but I still pretended I knew nothing. What happened? The moment I bit, he almost lost the battle with the corners of his mouth. Nothing huge. When she was born I wanted to see her, but mom and dad tag-teamed me with a double spanking, said little kids shouldn't crowd the baby. The more he talked, the sadder he got, until his head drooped like an abandoned puppy. The first time I'd heard the tale I'd already had a tiny crush on him. When a guy lays his childhood baggage bare in front of Vance, it's hard not to melt. For a long time afterward I felt desperately sorry for him. Then we got married and I casually asked his mom for the real version. Turns out the beating happened because the teacher had told the class to bring their favorite thing to school. He'd smuggled his newborn cousin in. The parents freaked. The teacher almost fainted. The classmates were stunned. And he stood there beaming like he'd won the lottery. When cousin heard she'd be acting with Shane, she agreed instantly. I have solid grounds to suspect she's still out for revenge. Shane finished, peeked up to gauge my reaction. Now that I knew the truth, my heart ached, for the gullible Mia back then. Under his hopeful stare I answered coolly, they went too easy on Vance. It's all in the, huh? His mournful mask cracked. Too easy? Yeah. Think about it, newborn baby, clumsy kid, what if Vance dropped her? And the hospital is packed, 1 second of distraction and Vance could have lost her. Shane wasn't sad anymore, just shell-shocked. So? I shouldn't blame my parents at all? Duh. Smuggling a baby into show and tell? Who wouldn't get wall-to-wall spankings? 6. I stepped out of the shower. Shane had already gone hunting for my brose bit dents. Those two refused to DM, they insisted on spamming the thread where half the internet was camping for updates. Bro. Huge thanks. After I told her my childhood trauma she totally defused my beef with my parents. I think she kinda likes me. My brose bit dents clearly didn't buy it and started grilling him for details. After the interrogation he went radio silent. Vance thinks she felt sorry for Vance? Why not? She was scared I'd get lost in the hospital, doesn't that count? If Vance say so, champ. Last card left, play it right and Vance re-in. Old saying, 3 sips of fake whiskey, make her eyes misty. Fake drunk is the fastest escalator, but I don't drink. Vance don't have to, just smell like Vance did. Got it. So did I. So the legendary one-time drunk had been a performance. No wonder in 3 years I'd only ever seen him drink once. I sat on the bed and laughed myself angry. Amnesia or not, the guy's playbook is photocopied. Roughly an hour later a heavy thud came from outside. Curtain time. Our Oscar winner was on. The thought of going downstairs to spar with him had me grinning before I started. More deliberate clatter rang out. When I finally opened the door, I saw a silhouette crumple in the dim living room, followed by the clink of bottle against glass. Moonlight spilled across the floor toward the 82 Lafite I'd specially ordered. This scene had blockbuster budget. I mourned the wine for 2 beats, then crouched beside him. He reeked of alcohol. 2 buttons of his shirt had surrendered, framing a pair of razor-sharp collarbones. I swallowed hard. Great, hooked by his looks again. Shane gave me a loopy smile, words slurred. I misjudged them. Them had to be mom and dad. Looks like he'd stitched the next act. Years later guilt, drown it in liquor. Very believable. Gotta hand it to him, he's good, otherwise I wouldn't have fallen for the same trick twice. I slipped an arm around his swaying shoulders, scolding. Vance just got out of the hospital. How could Vance drink? Shane mumbled, I didn't have much. Much? The bottle's empty. That's your idea of not much? He caught the flare of temper and grinned. Vance worry about me. The reply leapt out before I could stop it. Of course I worry, Vance my huss. My what, boss? Disappointment clouded his face. I don't want to be your boss. I raised an eyebrow. Then what do Vance want to be? In the moonlight only his eyes were visible, clear, earnest. 3 years ago he'd worn the same clarity when he pretended to be drunk. I'd missed the naked like underneath. Silence thickened until I could almost hear his heartbeat. Shane opened his mouth, no liquid courage, and still couldn't say it. I was annoyed. I'd confessed in one brisk line back then, now he was stuck in buffering. 3 years ago I'd kissed him while he was drunk. Tonight I did it again. I leaned in and pressed my lips to his. Shock rounded his eyes, every muscle locked. When I pulled back we stared at each other. Shane, will Vance still remember this tomorrow morning? He nodded, then shook his head, brain clearly offline. I smiled. We'll discuss it tomorrow. Bedtime now, 7. Of course he didn't sleep. He spam-pinged my bros a bit dense to celebrate. She kissed me. What does that mean? Does she like me? The wingman never answered, but the thread exploded. No way that actually worked. So the whole thing was couple cosplay? LMAO, I'm not crying. Vance crying. OP's definitely farming karma. Fool us if Vance want, just don't fool yourself. Shane fired back at every sarcastic reply. I binge-read the drama, then powered off and slept like a log. Next morning he wandered into the kitchen wearing souvenir bags under his eyes. Looked like zero sleep. I, on the other hand, had 8 flawless hours. I buttered my toast like nothing had happened. He sat down opposite me, stiff with nerves. After watching me eat calmly for 10 minutes without saying a word, Shane finally lost patience. He tested the waters. About last night. Vance drank too much last night. And then nothing. The light in Shane's eyes snapped off. He sounded aggrieved. How can Vance not take responsibility? Excuse me? Shane had completely forgotten his fake drunk act. He sounded perfectly righteous. Vance kissed me last night, so Vance have to take responsibility. The corner of my mouth lifted. Vance remember it so clearly? Vance weren't exactly sober. Shane didn't dare look at me, mumbling a weak defense. I'm different from other people. I set down my sandwich and looked at him seriously. All right, what we have isn't exactly innocent. The light in Shane's eyes flared back to life. His voice actually trembled. So what are we? I paused, then spoke slowly while he held his breath. We're in a lip-only friendship. A lip-only friendship? Exactly, kissing without responsibility. Shane's personal sky caved in, his voice shook. 3 years from now I'm this open-minded? He looked devastated. I lowered my eyes. If Vance can't accept it, I can always find someone else. Shane blurted, no. He still couldn't accept how libertine he'd apparently become, but the thought of me looking elsewhere was worse. He pulled himself together. So, what exactly do we do in this lip-only friendship? I was matter of fact. Just kiss. The corner of his mouth twitched. Nothing but kissing? Yup. Just feeding the craving. His CPU fried completely. I might need time to process. He bolted for his room like he'd seen a ghost. I watched him go, smile curling, and opened my phone. Sure enough, he'd run straight to my bros kind of dumb. Dude. Everything's sideways. She says we're just lip friends. Lip friends? Kiss-only relationship. Legend. Clearly my bros kind of dumb was shook too. A few seconds later Leo's iMessage popped up. Sis, Vance win. I'm tapping out. So the act was finally over. Don't sell yourself short. Vance V. been Shane's wingman for 3 whole years. At that, Leo confessed everything. Sis. It was my idea back then. Since Vance 2 are meant to be, please don't tell Shane that my bro's kind of dumb as me. If he hadn't recycled the same 3 moves every time, I'd never have realized my bro's kind of dumb was Leo. And I'd never have found out that 3 years ago it was also Leo's lousy advice. No wonder Shane hadn't seemed capable of dreaming up those stunts himself. The guy really is clueless about romance. 8. Ever since learning we were lip friends, Shane had been dodging me, while still circling closer. He looked tortured. On one hand, convinced our arrangement was scandalous. On the other, scandalous beat plain roommate status. Then the high school reunion invitation arrived. Bring your partner. Time for the final push. He would confess tonight. I cornered the escape-bound Shane, trapped, he couldn't even meet my eyes. Shane, if this bothers Vance, I can move out. I'm not bothered. Lie. His eyebrows were basically the Mariana Trench. Then come to the reunion with me, huh? Me? Yes, Vance. A flash of delight crossed his face. In what capacity? I blinked sweetly. As my husband, of course. Once granted the title husband, Shane stopped hiding. He practically glowed with the relief of a shady deal finally seeing daylight. On reunion night he emerged in a bespoke tux. I almost blacked out. Change. Now. He pouted. What if your old campus crush shows? I can't lose. Half laughing, half exasperated, I yanked a different outfit from his closet. He obeyed, sulking but docile. When he reappeared, I nodded approval. Matching fits. Everyone know we're together. That single sentence placated him. We arrived at the Grand Pearl Banquet Hall fashionably late. Most classmates were already there. Sophie spotted me and waved us over. I led Shane by the hand to sit beside her. She looked him up and down, teasing, "Your husband looks different from before." He really did. Former buzzcut wolf, now curly-haired puppy. At first glance I thought Vance swapped husbands. Innocent joke, lethal landing. Shane's eyes dimmed, jealousy flickered. Inwardly he'd already decided I'd brought someone else once. He fought to reclaim ground. Yep, upgraded to a better-looking model. Sophie laughed, assuming he was joking, completely missing the thundercloud brewing over him. Watching him envy himself was oddly adorable. I'd never seen him stake a claim on himself. He lifted his water glass, shooting me a sidelong glare, waiting for an explanation I didn't offer. I kept chatting with Sophie, blind to his turmoil. Minutes later he cracked. He leaned in, growling by my ear. Was he that kind of friend too? I played dumb. Who? My predecessor. I burst out laughing. Who calls a rival predecessor? What kind of friend? He squeezed out, lip friend. I only smiled. Taking that as confirmation, he delivered a line steeped in ancient vinegar. Three's a crowd, even for friendship. Total misunderstanding. Time to fix it. He is my legal husband, after all. I crooked a finger. After a beat he offered his ear. I brushed my lips against it, breath warm on his skin. Shane, it was platonic. I've only ever kissed Vance. Then I pressed a feather-light kiss to his cheek. Shane froze like I'd hit a pressure point, color flooding his face. Realizing what I'd done, he cycled through 800 fake moves, unable to curb the grin splitting his face. Corner-sitting, secretly ecstatic, he looked suddenly resolved. Puzzled, I watched him thumb his phone. He'd barely set it down when Leo forwarded me the screenshot. Sis, see for yourself. Image, Shane's DM to my bro's kind of dumb aka Leo. Bro, I'm confessing tonight. She definitely likes me, just playing hard to get. Said I'm the only guy she's ever kissed. Could be the one. The moment I read that line, I fell into a long silence. Thank God it was me Shane ran into. With his terminal case of self-deluding, love-stoned brain, anyone else could have sold him and he would have said, "She only sells me, proof I'm special to her." He stayed wired tight straight through the end of the reunion. When we stepped out of the Grand Pearl, the night wind hit me so hard I couldn't stop shivering. Shane stripped off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. The clean scent of his clothes surrounded me like an old, familiar song. I stared at him standing right in front of me and finally hurled myself into his arms. I locked my hands around his waist, soaking in his heat. Instead of pushing me away, Shane instinctively hugged me back. I knew it was muscle memory from all the times we'd held each other before. Maybe the moonlight was perfect. Maybe the love had swollen past the point of no return. Crushed against me, Shane spoke the words I'd been dying to hear, effortless as breathing. Elara. Whether Vance call it lip-only friendship or plain friendship, I can't fake it anymore. My heart pounds the same sentence every time it sees Vance. I'm in love. I felt the vibration roll through his chest. I also knew, crystal clear, that the heart hammering inside it was beating for me. So I said, then let's be together. 9. Being with Shane felt brand new. After all, I'd already been married to the man for 2 years. He'd evolved into the abstinent, self-controlled husband archetype. Now he'd reverted to the pre-wedding puppy who melted at the slightest tease. Anyone seeing us would have said, girl, Vancery eating good. Best of all, though Shane's memories were gone, his cooking skills hadn't dipped an inch. He would stare at the dishes he'd plated, baffled. He'd never studied cuisine, yet every move was flawless. He chalked it up to raw talent and almost auditioned for Iron Chef. I killed that idea by claiming I wanted to be the only one who ever ate his food. From that day on, he cooked for me with even more devotion. All that gourmet love eventually overwhelmed my stomach. A checkup at Riverdale gave me 2 pieces of good news. First, my stomach was fine. Second, I was pregnant. I took the lab slip, dazed. My brain raced through the calendar. I finally pinned it to the night before Shane's crash, a little over a month ago. I accepted the verdict quickly. The baby had always been part of our plan, but I'd forgotten it was the plan of the Shane who hadn't lost his memory. Right now, out in the hospital corridor, Shane held the report like a man struck by wind. He looked fossilized on the spot. When his eyes met mine, he trembled head to toe. Whose kid is this? Yours. Shane gave a brittle laugh. Last I checked, kissing doesn't lead to pregnancy. He thought for a couple of seconds. Or has science zipped ahead in 3 years and made kissing fertile? I finally understood the cliché. A woman in love equals a woman who's chugged 3 pounds of baijiu. How had I let this guy turn me into lovesick mush and hook me so completely? I almost wanted to cry from frustration. Let's go home first, I'll explain once we're there. The minute we walked in, I pulled our marriage certificate from the drawer. At the sight of the little red booklet, he petrified all over again. The man literally cracked into shards. Vance remarried? I became the other woman? Vance not the other woman, not even the other woman? Don't tell me I'm the other woman? Watching my face darken, Shane squeezed his eyes shut. Please say I'm not 5th place. His voice already carried a sob, his eyes were bloodshot, 1 tear from falling. Seeing him like that, I panicked and stepped closer. Don't cry, honey. Shane stubbornly turned his face away. I'm the other woman and I'm not allowed to cry. Stop calling me honey. Vance B got a legal husband, I'm just the side piece hiding in the shadows. It's too shameful. Hold up, how did we even get here? He has the status of the legal husband but the mindset of the mistress. My head throbbed. I shoved the open certificate in front of his face. Read. Out. Loud. Shane was misery incarnate. Isn't this a bit cruel for a side chick? Read. Like a robot on low battery, he droned issued to Elara. Shane, huh? He snatched the booklet like he'd hit the jackpot, glanced at the photo, then at the names. The man went euphoric. 2 years ago? 2 years ago I was this awesome? Immediately he switched to legal husband mode and hugged me, bouncing on his heels, burying his face in my neck. I'm so happy, today's the best day ever. I just gained a wife and a kid. Shane still cried, but this time the tears were pure joy. 10. Since the pregnancy surfaced, Shane wanted to hover over me 24 hours a day. His memory never came back. I asked the neurologist. The doctor said the clot in his brain had mostly dissolved, the rest was a waiting game. Shane didn't seem bothered. He figured it made no difference, he'd love me either way. I decided he had a point and stopped fretting. Then one morning he burst from the living room back into the bedroom. Babe. Vance pregnant, he announced, radiant. I rolled my eyes. I'm about to pop. The second the words left me, I froze. Honey, your memories? They're back? Shane eased me up, nodding. Guilt over everything I'd pulled while he was amnesiac hit me, and I started apologizing at light speed. I'm sorry, babe. I shouldn't have tricked Vance while Vance were lost. Shane shook his head, indignant. Not your fault. Obviously Leo served Vance that rotten idea. He's been scamming me for years, he couldn't even skip my amnesia episode. Watching him rant nonstop about Leo, I quietly hid the fact that my buddy's kinda dumb had also been his own line. But I underestimated him, Shane had leveled up. And he pretended to be some Reddit bro on top of it. Fake account, fine, but the username he picked? Garbage. Great. Leo was beyond rescue. Mid-tirade, Shane suddenly veered. Anyway, I already punished him. How? I stripped him of his right to be our kid's godfather. Looking at his smug face, I silently revoked every recent Bansery so smart I'd awarded him. Once his memories returned, he was basically the same, still waiting on me like I was a living ancestor. The marriage certificate was framed and rehung in the living room. I suddenly recalled his vow during our wedding: loving Vance has become the most ordinary thing I do. He forgot me, forgot everything we shared, and still remembered how to love me. And thanks for listening to today's story. If Vance liked this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to your replies in the comments, share your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. See Vance next time.